You know, Cards Against Humanity is like a fantastic tabletop game, but that's only if you actually hate tabletop games. It's like the kind of game you suggest when people want to play a board game, but you don't actually want to play a board game, so you suggest Cards Against Humanity. There's nothing wrong with enjoying it, but it's more of a party accessory and like a conversation piece rather than a game. But when people tell me they're really into board games and that Cards Against Humanity is their favorite, it's like someone calling themselves a movie buff and only watching Marvel movies. Or saying they like every genre of music, or all kinds of music, and then they stick to the top 40s. I'm just in the mood to attack right now, I don't know. Obviously the people you play this game with impacts the enjoyment you have, like any game. I did love playing this game with my grandmother. Getting to hear her call someone a little bitch was a lot of fun. But even then the shock value only lasted a few rounds. It was best when it was her turn. These days literally everyone and their mum is designing an Impress the Judge style game. It's been beaten into the dirt by every single new developer pushing one of these party games of a slightly different style. The worst part being that most of them push the exact same thing that Cards Against Humanity does, that being the offensive shock value. That shock value is where all of Cards Against Humanity's worth comes from, because beyond the surface level there's nothing to set it apart from every other Impress the Judge game besides its thin coat of offensive paint. Beneath the surface there's still nothing to the game besides playing the card and waiting for the judge to point to one and say that one. If that's enough for you, that's great. My battle isn't with you. I don't have a battle with anyone. I just trying to sound dramatic. But let me set the stage, okay? This is my gripe. I invite people over because they tell me they're into board games. We go for dinner, we go bowling. A bunch of them decide last minute actually they aren't coming anymore. 6 people walk back to my place. I've got 70 board games on my wall. They look at my collection and someone says, "Do you have Cards Against Humanity?" I die. I've got Subterra, Codenames, Pandemic, Betrayal, Red Dragon Inn, Resistance, and you picked the least game I have. And actually, no, I don't have Cards Against Humanity. The worst actually was when someone heard I didn't have it, so they brought it themselves and derailed my whole thing. So yeah, perhaps a good chunk of the reason I hate the game is just my bitterness. This is like my Joker origin story, okay? And as much as I might be making it sound like I hate all games that are like this, there are a few like standout games in the Impress the Judge genre that I really would recommend over Cards Against Humanity. If the question is still, what if I just want to sit around and play something silly and not put any thought into it? Well, as I said, you know, that's fine. I hope I've made that clear, but you do not have to pick Cards Against Humanity. Let me instead sell you something else if you're a huge fan of the style. Let me sell you Say Anything. A game where you get asked a question and you write down any answer you want. Shit, you could even draw something if you wanted. But what really makes me prefer this game is the voting process. Look at this. Step 1, judge picks secretly. Step 2, people vote on what they think the judge picked, and then you hit the Cards Against Humanity gameplay. The 2 extra steps though, they make a world of difference. Biggest downside is you can't play this game with any couples because they'll just vote for each other. It happens every single pair of people. Also, let me sell you Super Fight, okay? This game is a little different, but the premise is similar. You play your cards, you hope the judge likes you, but this game makes you work for it, and the judge is everyone else. You have to make a character out of the cards in your hand and debate why it would beat the other player's character in a fight. The game it's really heavily dependent on the group. If you have stubborn friends or family who care more about winning than anything else, this game is going to be complete fucking ass. But if you've got a Cards Against Humanity crowd, they're just there for fun, it's not about competition, then Super Fight is a better time than Cards Against Humanity, let me tell you. Honestly, I could just sit here and sell you alternatives all day, but the point is, even if you're not actually into more structured board games, there are better alternative party games than Cards Against Humanity. Get Say Anything if you still want that freedom to be offensive and shocking and have a good laugh over that. Get Super Fight if you want a good drunk party game where you can actually debate your decisions. Get Apples to Apples if you're looking to teach and expand vocabulary, your own or anyone else. Get Fun Employed if you want to do improv roleplay in an Impress the Judge game. I actually really do like this one a lot. But for the love of God, don't get Cards Against Humanity. I guarantee whoever you're about to play with already has it anyway.